Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Monday, the 29th of September. So let's just start off with the economic calendar. I don't really I don't really take this into account too much, but it's obviously going to be there will be some volatility events in here. This week seems to be there's jolts on Tuesday. Not really too interested in that. Could be a potential volatility event, but nothing too crazy. Manufacturing Wednesday, I'm not really. Initial jobless claims Thursday is probably the biggest one this week, and maybe some Fed officials speaking as well. And then non-farm payrolls and employment date on Friday. So those will probably be the biggest ones this week in terms of a volatility event that you probably need to look out for. That's 1 hour pre-market before Friday, so should be some pretty smooth trading this week in general, unless I'm missing anything. And like the Fed speaking, yeah, Fed Logan speech, that's um, probably minor volatility, but nothing really too crazy this week apart from maybe Thursday into Friday. But that'll be after the monthly close, so very interesting. In terms of long to short ratio, let's have a look. I haven't actually looked at this since Friday, so yeah, a few more shorts coming into the market. We did hit 65% long over the weekend, which is relatively quite high. 65% to 70% either way is extremely heavy on either side. So if you see 65% long or 65% short, um, it could mean that we're getting to the end of what is a trend to the upside or to the downside, depending on which way you're going. Yeah, that's quite nice to see as we are breaking up. We are obviously seeing some more shorts come into the market. We'd like to see that continue. You can kind of see that exemplified on the MDX charts, but yeah, we're still relatively heavily long in the market. If this loads, yeah, so still a little bit of a gap, but nothing too crazy as of right now. In terms of max pain, let's see if the 1 month loads on this. I don't think it. Oh, 1 month's loading on this. So 1 month max pain, long max pain sitting at 1083. I think we did kind of just take that. Let me see what we went down to on Friday. So we went to 1087, 1086. So just below those lows is more long max pain. Well, there's obviously going to be a ton of liquidity there, as we know. That's probably joined together from 107 to 108. So ton of liquidity down there. Probably going to come back for that at some point, but yeah, the short max pain sitting all the way up at 118.8, so basically 119. So good to know, good to keep that in mind. In terms of the order book, we did have a few orders that were stacked about 112k, but I think they've been pulled, or maybe one of them just got hit on this wick up, and then the rest has been pulled. We do have kind of some orders stepping in at the recent low. I'm not sure how real those things are. In terms of the downside, there's not really that much there. There's a little bit at 110.2. There's a little bit. That's not really anything really. It's a little bit just below the local price action, but to the upside, I feel like they've pulled this stuff at 113 and they've just placed it a little bit higher. Sorry, that was 112, 112.3, and they put it at 113. So watch out for 113. In terms of the volume node, on the hourly, it's just down at 109.4 ish, basically what we gained back. And the 4 hour volume node sitting quite comfortably back up at 115.8. So basically, the lows that we lost is quite far up there. But yeah, in terms of the order book, nothing too crazy. Let me go down to the 15 minute. If it's a bit easier to see, let's just see if that one actually got hit. It might have got very lightly touched, but yeah, we do have one order sitting at about 111.5, trying to hold the price up. And apart from that, it's relatively thin going into the start of the week. Liquidations, let's go a slightly higher time frame. Yeah, so we've got a little bit at 113.5. I think that comes in similar to the 1 hour node. Let's just have a quick look at this and remember where it is. Okay, so it's just basically around the 1 hour high we did just before the weekend, which led us to the low, where a bunch of liquidations is just around that high. Obviously, to the downside, you guys know 107, 108 is a heavy liquidation zone as well. Let's just go slightly higher time frame. Yeah, so generally 113.4 is quite close, and then we've obviously got liquidity all the way up to basically 120k, and then to the downside there's a big hotspot from about 107 to 108. So yeah, that's about it for the metricos. Probably the 1 month. Yeah, the 1 month looks like that. That's very interesting. 106A, 1085. So it's quite a big area just under the lows that we just did. But yeah, let's get into the old charts. And we will change this one out as well. So, all good for that. Biggest thing this week, Q4 open on Wednesday. Yeah, so that's going to be a big open. What I'm going to be watching for this week is closes above September levels. So some alts are looking better than others. Some alts are looking a little bit rough. And yeah, we'll have a look at them now. But that is going to be a big event. And then obviously we got a couple volatility events on Thursday and Friday as well, but nothing too crazy. But yeah, so this is Bitcoin out right now. We came right down into the stupid pocket over I think it was over, Thursday into Friday. Went pretty flat over the weekend and got a really nice pumpy candle yesterday. Yeah, felt the per. Yeah, we'll have a look at per because I did actually long some per. And it's doing pretty well. So, yeah, Bitcoin, local price action, not looking too bad. Obviously, if we go to the daily, we're still quite heavily in a little bit of a downtrend, but we have defended these lows quite well at 108. This is where we wanted to see a bounce. We actually wanted to see a bounce at about 110, but unfortunately we broke below there. In terms of Bitcoin right now, yeah, we basically want to see some levels held. We've got a really nice daily weekly close, quite high above. Gained back this structure, but in general, I do think it's just looking a little bit tired here. The 4 hours a little bit overbought. If we gain this daily weekly open, we're going to go all the way up and test this resistance at about 113.5, where a lot of that stuff was coming in on the metrics. But I wouldn't be surprised to see us have a little rollback, maybe at the start of the week. I'm not sure if it would come all the way back down to these lows, but if it did, I would potentially be a bidder. But yeah, I would like to see this kind of just gain the daily weekly open now and squeeze a little bit higher. Because yeah, we've gained this little like nub back, and we'll probably come back for all this liquidity and stuff lower. So I don't really want to come back down now and start like grinding lower and more shorts to come in back into the lows, but it's definitely on the cards. So yeah, Bitcoin's just looking a little bit, it's looking like a little bit nothing right now. Watch this daily weekly open on the next 4 hour close, and obviously America's going to open as well. But yeah, I am long. I think we were saying that we were long on Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah, we were tentatively long somewhere in this area around like 109 or something. So the long's doing pretty good, and I've taken a bit of profit. If we come up to like 113.5, I'll take a bit more profit. And yeah, let's actually just have a look at this. No, let's not have a look at that. Let's have a look at the liquidations. So let's have a look at this on the 12 hour. So again, we're getting quite close to some of this higher leverage liquidity up here. There's decent amount all the way up to basically 118k up in this area. So if we do start to see some gains of like 113.5, it's going to look good to potentially just squeeze all this liquidity higher this week. where I do think we're going to find some resistance in this area if we do get back up to it. 116 is quite a big area for the volume node as well. But yeah, in general, I would just kind of like to do this, maybe just like flag out and grind up this week. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, let's have a look at ETH. So ETH's still looking relatively bearish. We're actually currently underside retesting this low. But that comes in sorry, it's pretty badly drawn. It's kind of more like that, but you can just see it without even the line. The daily weekly open comes in quite nicely, so if we do gain that, that's going to be the nice gain level to like squeeze up into the highs, potentially close a new candle above this resistance, which led us to the low. As of right now in ETH, it looks relatively good because this low's been tested. Wait, I need the line for this. This low's been tested. This low's been tested here. This high hasn't been tested yet, so this high and low. So there is potential that we could see a little bit of a pullback here on ETH. Let me just take that off. And test somewhere in this low to the high of this structure here. If we see a rejection from the daily weekly open and come here and like hold in this area, I'll be looking for this to maybe make one more pump up to this resistance zone where we went flat. This was way earlier in the week. And then led us to this new low that has all been tested. So quite simply, low that we want to hold, new high in the local structure. If we do a little bit of a pullback, I'll be looking to maybe potentially get something on ETH in this area. For now, another round up at the highs. Now, this is quite far away from its September level. And I actually didn't check the max pain on ETH, so which is a little bit annoying. But this is quite far away from its September level as of right now. But if we go to the 4 hour, you'll see that we're getting quite close to some of these liquidations up here. So it's either going to be, we're either going to break through and maybe squeeze up all of this now and maybe do like a full like lows retest before we go, or we might see a little bit of a failure here, come back down, take some of this stuff, hold this low, and then maybe like squeeze up into it this week, which I think is probably more likely. But we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see how it goes. We're getting into the full moon, guys. Nah, but yeah, we done some decent gains on Friday, like here, when we closed this candle above here, done a nice retest. If we do come back down, we want to hold quite bullishly and then just make a new high and break that daily weekly open and come all the way up to here. And then it'll be looking quite good. So yeah, in general, not looking too bad at the start of this week for some of these alts. Where would you put after we do Solana, because that's actually pumping. So Solana, I do have to say on Solana that this is obviously quite a defined break of structure. We have regained it back so far, so we could go up and test the highs. Just on this daily candle here, has been retested quite nicely. The setup I'll be looking for on this is potentially again a wick down into the lows, or like maybe taking some of this high leverage stuff here and holding this low here and then coming up higher and squeezing all of this first. There's even the potential that we could do like a full retest of the highs, because this is now a new bearish tuber that we could do, and we have done some very, very local gains here. So if we like do a retest and start like squeezing higher into that resistance, then again, this is going to be a decent area to potentially short. Maybe the 786 at like 230 might be a bit of a decent short. And if we come down and do like a higher low and start doing this stuff, then yeah, we can talk about like squeezing up higher into October. But as of right now, I think potentially shorting here might be a decent opportunity, even if it's just like a snap back down to like here, and then we like start going higher. But yeah, so for this week's, I'm going to be potentially looking for some longs over here. If I'm not already in longs, I am in longs from the end of last week anyway. Some are doing all right, some are a little bit under the water. Nothing too crazy, nothing really that we need to panic about unless we start like losing some of these levels. But Solana's currently above at September, and this it's better to see on the 4 hour. This was kind of like a bullish retest of this high, and we look like we're coming back down to just retest this structure quite nicely. So if you want to look at it in terms of an hourly, you could even just like pull off here from like here to here, just in the very like local, and just be like, okay, I'm going to potentially try and like long this September open if we do like grind a little bit further down. And yeah, the biggest resistance is obviously going to be up here. But yeah, not looking too bad, guys. Not looking too bad at all. And yeah, so rejection from here, got a nice little liquidation pocket right above. Come back, take this stuff, hold this low, and then you're potentially looking to like go higher. That's what I'll be looking for this week. Let's have a look at Per then. Oh my days. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? So some really bad daily closes here. Actually closed underneath some structure. And then just full on cent reverse this. This is a little bit of a strange one really, because it's broken structure. We weren't really in the over like sold area of, I mean, we were getting quite close there on the daily. But yeah, this is literally just pinged straight up. Wow, that's crazy. I might have to sell some of my trade. Again, this is probably better to look at without the auto charting tools. This is probably better to look at with nothing, just like straight price action. I mean, what can you say? It's going straight up, guys. Let's go to the daily with no price action. Yeah, so new high. Going to be a nice, decent low to potentially try and defend. There's not really actually that much to say on this, apart from we're just going straight up. And yeah, this actually looks really good. What have we got? Some stuff to the left here. So yeah, we've got maybe like here. I can't be bothered to put all this on, but it's looking good. It's looking good. I don't really have anything to say on this other than it's just going straight up. If it starts to like stall out, then we can talk about coming down and like retesting some levels like bullishly in here and stuff like that. Maybe even this high. We've got loads of levels. But as of right now, straight up, I'm probably going to sell a bit of my trade after this stream. Damn, that's really... This is a really good move. Yeah, I don't have really anything else to say on this. Like, what's happened? Why is this pumping? Hyperliquid, although I wasn't fortunate enough to get Hyper NFT myself, I have to admit it's one of the most stunning collections in the market today. Each piece has been crafted with a bit. Oh, okay. They've got NFTs. Yeah, I've got PTSD from the Soul NFTs last cycle, but they do look pretty cool. 75k. Miss me with that shit, but. So is that connected to Per, or is that Hyper NFTs? Anyway, I actually don't really have anything to say on this other than if we continue this breakout, we're probably going to go towards the highs of like 3-2. And we actually just see, yeah, we've got the yearly open in between like 30 cents, well, 29. So we're probably going to just go up and ping that on this current move, and then potentially like stall out somewhere here, and then come back down for a nice retest. But yeah, it looks good. Love it. Absolutely love it. Let me just mute my phone. Absolutely love it. That's a really good start to week. Pergumber. Yeah, that's a good one. So let's have a look at some of these more popular alts. So Doge, I was talking about this in Viking stream, and I was saying um, that this looks really good. One, because we were talking about longing this literally just in this area at the end of August, saying that it's going to go to the yearly open. We came down and did a full retest right in the Stuba level. I was saying that it could go a tiny bit lower, and the reason for that is we did have a nice liquidation pocket in between 2.2 and 2.1, which was also the September level. And the 886 came quite nicely over the lows. So if we went all the way down to like 2.1, I would have been a big longer here. Other than that, we've actually done some local gains of the structure, which is quite nice. We got this low now, we got this low, and we've made a higher low from there. Let me zoom that in actually a little bit. So locally, it's actually looking relatively quite decent. It's kind of like a similar thing with Sol and everything else. If we come down and take this really like high leverage stuff just here, just below, and hold this low, I'm going to be looking for potentially higher and to just squeeze this high leverage stuff just from the weekend here. Sorry, that was during the week, but this little ping up that then led us to the new low. I'm looking for this to get hit if we do like a bullish back test of this low that we just did, and take that high leverage stuff. Of course, we could run this all the way back down to the lows, but at this point, I think it's a little bit more. It just makes more sense with all this stuff to the upside that we would be targeting slightly higher. So I'm going to show you on a lot of altcoins now that, of course, there's a lot of liquidity below, but we would have to break some really important levels to actually like have a go at this sort of stuff, or like get a nasty wick like that. I do just think that to the upside, it just does look a bit more attractive on something like this, which has come all the way back down into its 786 pocket, and is still in an uptrend. Yeah, I'm looking to potentially long this. Well, I am long on Doge anyway, but yeah, looking pretty decent. So yeah, on the hourly, let's just yeah, you can just see that we've got some heavy support in here now. So yes, that will be the plan on that. Nothing too crazy. Looking potentially quite good. Filecoin also looking, again, potentially quite good. This actually did a nice sneaky close above. So yeah, I shorted this last week. I think I was here or something. Decent short. Or maybe it was here actually, and took a bit of profit and then got stopped out. And then it did the real dump, yeah. And I didn't actually get the decent short. But as of right now, this has actually done a sneaky close above, I think. Yeah, that daily weekly opens just sneakily closed above. So I'm going to delete those rays now. And say, yeah, it's very similar. We got some high leverage stuff just very locally. We got the low down there. So more high leverage stuff down here, but we could like wick and take that and then reclose the low. That would also be okay. But again, I'm generally looking for this to squeeze up a little bit higher and maybe gain. We've got a lot of stuff. The liquidation on this is slightly a little bit like thinner. But I'm looking for this to at least come and test September before the month is out. Yeah, nice little sneaky close above here. Let's actually just put that on something like that. Yeah. Anyway, you can see the sneaky close. So quite a similar thing on Filecoin. Yeah. Asta. Let's have a look at Asta. Asta in a little bit of a downtrend. Made a new low across here from this low, but it kind of loves to do that. It loves to do the like new low regain and then repump. As of right now, we're above the daily weekly open. We got some nice support around this low here. Again, potentially you're looking to like squeeze this up a little bit higher. I think if this does grind down a little bit into this like daily weekly open, right this area here, then you're potentially looking for a decent little trade, maybe just up to these highs here, about 210, and maybe even higher if you're lucky. To the downside, if we start losing that daily weekly open now, it's going to look a little bit rough. Let me just delete that. Jesus. Yeah, start looking at like losing this, close some maybe an hourly candle below here, and then bearish retest. Then we might go for like a new low. In that case, the 786 and 886 pocket that I've got drawn on will be my next level to potentially long. So it'll be like 40 to 50. But I think this is not the worst price for Asta, especially as we're retesting like this swing in here. And yeah, we've got basically that level. Well, we're actually testing the high of the swing, so yeah, not looking too bad. Definitely a potential trade on that as well. So yeah, apart from that, we'll have a look at hype, which is currently above its daily week open, which is quite nice. This has actually done some really, really good gains. So yeah, tested the low, tested the high, tested that low. That's tested to the upside of resistance. Pretty much all of it's been tested apart from this just little bit. So this one little bit could have one more test. Apart from that, it looks relatively quite good. We made a new low here from here, but then we've actually made a new high. So looking relatively good. If we start losing daily week open, we want to see holes of September, and we don't want to break below this low now. But in general, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good, guys. So yeah, that actually looks nice. If that 4-hour candle closes above there, we might squeeze up all the way into 49. But yeah, in general, it's looking like we could potentially be in for a little bit of a pump week. Now, the pump week isn't magically going to change this like daily structure, as we have seen breakdown since here, but it just could be, you know, like a squeeze into the highs, and then we'll talk about maybe doing a higher low, getting some shorts in here for potentially even a new low, or we'll make a higher low from here and start like squeezing it up into that sort of structure. But yeah, I'm generally feeling quite optimistic for this week, and yeah, it's looking relatively quite good. What else have we got? We could do some of the alts, but if anyone has anything that they're potentially looking at, feel free to slap it in the chat. Subledge only, just join the stream. Have you done analysis on PERT? Yeah, bro, I'm not gonna lie, there's not really that much analysis for me to do on PERT at the moment. It's just straight up, man. It's literally just straight up. And while I might take 10% off my trade after this stream just because of this monster pump, I do think that taking the majority in between here, like 27, 29, 3, is where I'm going to take most of my trade. And if we get up there, we'll probably start stalling out and then maybe go for like a retest or something. But in general, there's not really that much that I can say other than it's just completely reversed. We made a new low here, and now we're just like breaking everything from. We're just breaking everything. We're breaking everything, guys. It's looking good. So yeah, I'm letting it run. Well, I'm going to take 10% off here as we're getting into resistance. I'm going to take the majority around the yearly open, like maybe like 27, 28, 29, just around there. I just want to be out my trade, and then if it comes back down, I'll reaccumulate in this area. Reaccumulation, mate. Yeah. So what's everyone else looking at? What else have we got here? We've got Should we look at stubble, XPL? Someone told me to look at Avant, and that's actually looking relatively interesting. This might have been Plumbus, which is sitting right across its 786 at the moment. Thoughts on Avant? Yeah, oh, you just said that as well. What is Avant, by the way? I would like to know. So my thoughts on this, just looking at this, I don't even need to look at this with auto charting tools, is that we are currently underside retesting this area. Yes, we're getting into the long zone, but if we do a close above there, structure's potentially going to be changing, and then we could go for like a, sorry, that's way too long, a retest of the lows, and then maybe potentially base off. Right now I wouldn't long this, just like right now. Just because of the structure here, and we are kind of getting some bearish divergence and stuff like that. So potentially this could go all the way down to the 886 and do a retest of that high, because all this structure here is untested, and I would expect that to hold. So yeah, if you do like one more, I think that's very, very, very pleasant on whatever this is. But yeah, or just flip this. Or just flip that, which is also okay. DeFi's leverage hub for global assets. Trade FX. Oh, okay. Wait, what? Trade FX in crypto. Global markets, limitless leverage. Built and backed by base. So this is a DEX with commodities and stocks in crypto, right? Pretty cool. Definitely pretty cool, man. Oh, I think someone did. I think I did check this, their Twitter or something. And you can use stable coins as collateral. Yeah. If this is do you know where this is based? Is this based in America? If you know that, that would be, I mean, I could probably find it out very easily, to be honest, but yeah, it looks cool, man. It's kind of in the narrative as well that's going on at the moment. Stake, claim airdrop. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to look too far into it now while I'm on stream, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. If we do like a test of here, that's where I'll be interested. Yeah. So Stubble, whatever this is, actually looks decent as well. Made a new high on the hourly. That's good. This area is now the area of interest to hold and retest. Weekly open also comes in literally around there, which is also nice as well. Could easily just hold this, where we have done a like nice retest, and like go up for one more into resistance. But yeah, if it were to come back down again, another potential long from this area. I don't even know. I did see some things on X about Stubble being a scam, or someone was telling me that was a scam or some shit. But I'm not really gonna buy any on spot. So what's XPL doing? Might as well just check out all these new coins. Yeah, had a nice big run up over the weekend. Nothing really to say on that either. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so what are you guys looking at? Let me check the chat. Chatteruniate. Yes, as well. Cheers, brother. Yeah, so there's a lot of Dex narratives going on at the moment. So it might be worth like farming a bit of volume on the good one. I'm just waiting for a little bit more information about some of them. I get a bit sketchy about just connecting my wallet to shit after being drained on Jupiter, so it is what it is. But yeah, in general, it's not looking too bad. Something like AVAX, which we've done some really nice gains of, it's like if you see some retests in this area, well, actually, let me not put it on. Let me put the liquidations on. This is going to be way easier to see. So if we come down and take this, and we hold this low, basically what you're seeing is like a low time. Well, you're already seeing a low time frame, like change of trend. But I'll be looking for this to potentially rip all the way up to here, and then you could even draw like a bearish stuber from there to there, and your pocket's gonna come kind of perfectly in there, which is kind of what I'd be expecting this week. At least to just rip some of this stuff around this low here. So I think that's going to be a good one. If we continue to like step ladder up, it'll be quite nice. And then we can talk about shorts up here, where I probably will be shorting. Not necessarily for like a new low, which definitely could be the case. Don't get me wrong. We could be setting up for the classic Lord Dumpu. But we could also come down and like do a macro high low, and like I said. But yeah, it's generally looking pretty decent for this week. If I do see some nice retests of the high leverage area on some of these alts, and we hold some of these lows, or even if we just like wick down and then do some regains, I'll tentatively look to long with stuff that has decent risk. So what even is the risk on this? I mean, it's a little bit high, just a little bit. Maybe like 2%, yeah. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, the general gist is that these lows that we put in towards the end of the last week and on the weekend, if tested, we want to see held. So like Sui, we want to see this held. Potentially, we want to just see it hold a little bit bullishly, and then yeah, we want to break all of this like little swing that we did midweek is what we want to gain back to go and test really high in the structure and take all of this stuff where that is. So yeah, it's looking potentially quite good. There's a lot of decent little setups going on, and yeah, the full moon is coming, guys. The full moon pump. What are we talking about? Let's just have a look. So each one's about 14 days, 14 and a half days. So let's do like 7, 12. Yeah, so what about from here? 7, 12? Yeah, we've started pumping into it. Halfway through. So it would not surprise me to just see this. Well, not quite that high, but you get the gist. Rip some of that. It would not surprise me, guys. Keep an eye on the 4-hour close on Bitcoin. It could be sneaky close above. Yeah, that's what I was saying at the start. So if we close above, we might do a sneaky squeeze up to 113.5. But yeah, it's looking relatively quite good for this week. So yeah, any new altcoins, anything that I've missed that anyone wants me to look at for example, like Link, Injective, Turbo, sitting right across this 886 now. Looking a bit rough, but still there, still hanging out. Like if you just go to the 12-hour and turn this on, these guys are definitely not. If the market's actually over and we're gonna make new lows, these guys are not getting a fucking free ride. No way. No way. No way, Jose. What's Arve doing? So Arve's actually held up quite well um, on this dump with that really nice like wick candle retest of the lows. So that's all done. Again, you're kind of holding the Stuber pocket quite nicely. And local price action is taking you reluctantly towards the upside, but you do have a higher low and a higher high just in this very, very, very local price action. So again, not looking too bad on Arve. And it actually hasn't dumped that much in, I mean, it has dumped 35%, but in general, since Monday, well, Sunday is when we started doing the really big dumps on Bitcoin and alts. We've only dumped about, I guess we should take it from the high there, about 20%, which is not too bad at all, to be honest. Again, I've circled this high leverage stuff. Quite similar. If we do like a retest and then start making some highs, they're gonna rip that stuff this week. So yeah, the playbook is playbooking, and yeah, tentatively looking higher. XAI, is this still alive? Came late. Good that we agree. Yeah, Bitcoin as well. Just to very, very quickly touch back over it. We do have a bit of a gap here now, like a fair value gap that this candle has pulled. The 4-hour candle was really nice. We closed above this swing here. If we do like bearishly retest the weekly open, which is happening now, we can fall all the way back down here, which wouldn't be the worst thing anyway. So wouldn't be the worst. But yeah, that looks quite good. You'll find that the retail stablecoin demand is a very leading indicator. So while you can't actually like take trades off it, if you see it like bottoming on the 4-hour or the 12-hour, like super overbought or super oversold, you can definitely start to look for some trades in the other direction. Even like, especially when you're in an area like this, which is the Stuber pocket. I know we have a lot of liquidity below, which definitely could have been ripped. But you know, when you see like it's starting to bottom like this, it's generally a good idea to start looking the other way. Just if only for a little trade. XAI, yeah, let's have a look. What is XAI? I do not know. I don't know what this is, but I don't know what this is at all, but it's literally on its lows. So, you know, you can expect maybe a little bit of a bounce. In general, you want to gain back this block. If you can gain this block back, you're potentially going to go up and test this structure here. I don't really know what this is though, and I don't know if you should be buying it or spot or long term at this stage. Me and Zeus were saying this recently. Like, if this was last cycle, I'd tell you to fucking buy some of this because it looks like it's round bottoming. But this cycle, I would just say, like, just trade it and don't bag hold any of this shit. Like, because you're just gonna get caught out. So this is the classic, just like buy and hold for a few months last cycle, and it's gonna just 10x. But this cycle, I don't know. I wouldn't be doing that. I think it's definitely worth for a test up in like 0.5, 0.05 somewhere. Yeah, aligns with the CME gap. Oh yeah, we haven't even looked at the CME gap, and we haven't even looked at weekly closes for some of this stuff, which is what I usually do on Monday. We kind of just went straight into it. So CME gap. Yeah, CME gap below. That'll be filled if we do a retest of like 110.5. So in this area, that kind of lines up quite nicely as getting rejected and like tumbling back down, and then doing all those retests. And then yeah, we're just looking for this low to hold, and then potentially go higher now because we have done a really nice close on the 4 hour. And let's have a look at Bitcoin DOM. Yeah, it's gradually starting to come up. We did some nice closes above here. We want to see this reject pretty much from where it is now because it did a nice retest there, but we don't really want to see this start to trend higher. Was there a bit of divergence? Yeah, there's a hidden bull on the daily on the retail stablecoin demand, but yeah, it does generally look like it's starting to change trend and maybe chug up a little bit more. But in general, this is still in a downtrend, and we want to see this continue to fall. But yeah, it's looking like we might get a decent little bit of a relief week, maybe a little bit pumpy. It's going to be a monthly close. We've got some stuff happening later on in the week. So in general, if we do see a little bit of a grind down or a little bit of a retest of the lows, I'd be looking to tentatively long that area in between today and tomorrow. Hopefully we get it. And then yeah, hopefully later on in the week where we can go and do some retests a little bit higher. Just let you know we have it. Yeah. The stablecoin indicator, do you have it set to invert? Yes, I do. So invert's easier to just see. I used to have it on non-inverted. Oh, damn. What have I done? I've just opened the numbers thing on my laptop. Invert's easier to read, but uninverted is basically the way that it comes because yeah, that's just how it's locked in. It's very easy to read when you have it inverted because the lows just line up the lows. But if you think about it, when retail stablecoin demand is high, that means retail are not in the market and they're in stablecoins. So it signifies a potential bottom in the market, but that's why we have it inverted. So the line is at the bottom when retail are not in the market. So anyway, Jack PC in a sec. Oh, chill, bro. Has anyone tried spread betting account in the UK's Trax Free? No, I have not, sir. But yeah, I think that's about it for today.